Welcome back to Porterverse Workbench. We are covering another rebuild this time around. That's right, Thomas the Tank Engine has been completely redone. He's actually one of the models I've been wanting to redo for a good while now. His older model was starting to show its age quite badly, I'd say. So I figured now it's time as good as any for a redo. Like in the previous episode, we will just skip Thomas's Porterverse backstory, as it has been covered a few times already in these videos. Feel free to check those out if you'd like. So it jumps straight into the model making process. Let's begin. My original Thomas model was made using a body shell designed by the LBSC Thomas on Twitter. It was designed to fit on the newer Hornby Terrier chassis. At the time making the model, I only had the older style Hornby / Dappled chassis, so I made do and had to cut part of the body to make it fit. It didn't really sit right and it was a little bit too long for it, but I just rolled with it. I painted the shell on its NWR colors and left it at that. I never actually clear coated the model after painting, but not even that would have improved this model anyways, as there were many imperfections. Over time, the flaws of the model only bugged me more and more. The body shell was also eventually taken off the market, and so I wasn't able to make any of Thomas's siblings. By that point, I knew that Thomas's eventual redo would involve finding a new body shell, so that when I make his siblings, they can all match design-wise. However, Thomas's redo wasn't a huge priority for me, and for a good few months, he just stayed the same. That was until one day I came across a Twitter post promoting a new Thomas shell on the market. DoubleM Models posted a photo of the new body shell, which is basically meant to be a realistic Thomas depiction. I fell in love with this thing the moment I saw it. It just looks so right. I immediately ran over to DoubleM's Etsy store and ordered the shell, and was so happy when I finally received it in the mail. This thing is super nice. It feels really sturdy and has such a nice finish. It doesn't feel like it will crack if I would accidentally drop it or anything. It just feels really well put together and designed. After receiving the shell, the time finally came to paint the model. Thomas's painting process was very textbook and like literally any other model I made. A coat of gray primer to start, and then several coats of Apple Barrel's Cobalt Hue. This is the standard blue paint I use for all my Northwestern engines. Gordon, Edward, Pip, and Emma all wear this color. After a few coats of the blue, I then did the cleanup work in black, and I painted all the necessary parts, like the smoke box and running board, in black. I opted to paint the back part of Thomas's cab black, as I feel like it wouldn't make sense to have it blue, as any cold suit would just make it dirty and look black anyways. And also I feel like it just makes it stand out a little more. Looks really nice, I'd say. Gives that a little bit more of an industrial feel to it. Following that was the lining. I used a toothpick with Apple Barrel's red paint and made out the lines using the riveting as a guide. The rivets were actually surprisingly helpful and make sure the lining was super straight, and I'd say it turned out pretty good. And this process was also used to make out the boiler banding, splasher lining, and the running board sides. I then made out various details in gold and silver. Following that was the clear coat, and only after a couple of days of work on the model too. Super fast process. The clear coating, however, was surprisingly difficult to finish. Not because it's actually hard to spray or anything, but because after I finished the model, it began to rain pretty much every single day for the next almost 3 weeks. And on the days where it didn't rain, it was just way too humid outside. As if you clear coat something in a humid day, the humidity will cause the clear coat to fog up, looking like frost. See my Goober Thomas model, how the roof doesn't look like right or anything. It looks kind of frosty looking. So I had to wait for a hot and dry day to arrive. And at last, after a long time waiting, that day finally came. And I immediately ran outside with the shell and clear coated it at last. After a full day of drying inside next to a giant fan, Thomas was officially done. Yatta! I am really happy with how it turned out. He just looks so right now. The more squat and compact look of the DoubleM body shell really embodies the style of my AU, I feel. I love this thing. It feels so right to have him in my collection again. And I highly recommend buying this shell for your Thomas model, or just to have as any shunting engine. It's just so nice looking, it's just so fun to have. Double M Models Etsy store will be linked in the description for those interested. They also have a lot of other engine cells and other prints, which I highly recommend checking out. They're really nice looking. I suppose while I'm here, I should give some updates in regards to the channel's upcoming content. Railways of the Porterverse has been dormant for a few months now, and I do apologize for that. That series requires a lot of brainstorming and editing, and just a lot of time in general, as it takes the most amount of time to make an episode of that series out of all my different series. So hopefully I'll be able to get more focus on my big projects eventually. Speaking of which, Interurban Engines. I know you guys have been waiting for that to come out for a while now, all year matter of fact. I really would like to get the stories out, or at least the first one, by the end of this year, but that's pretty unlikely now at this point. So the project will likely start coming out in 2025. I just can't guarantee any release date right now, as I feel like if I give a release date, I probably won't be able to live up to it. But I will provide more updates as the stories progress. The rest of this series, Porterverse Workbench, this season is planned out now, and Season 4 is also being planned as well. And Porterverse lore ramblings will continue as normal as well. I'd also like to make other special videos outside of my handful of series. Let me know what you'd like to see from me. I am open to ideas. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of Porterverse Workbench, and I shall see you all same time next week.